Today in the show we have four people who are very special to the ISC, the four house heads. Since there's four of them, we are only starting with two at a time. So first on the show we have the Delta house head, Shannon, and the Gamma house head, Chris. So, all right, how's your morning been?
Your morning's been pretty good.
Great, awesome.
It's been exciting.
Yeah, this is great. All right, well, we'll just start out with a simple question. How long have you guys been house heads?
So we were elected last year in May or April. I think we were last April.
April.
So we've been almost a year, almost a year now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you first were hearing about the house head elections last year, what made you want to join and be a house head?
Ooh, this one's pretty deep. Be honest, perfectly honest, I was just very much tired of everything that I saw around me. To me, especially freshman year, ISC has always been this almost magical place. Everyone is so loving, caring. It's a community unlike anything I've ever seen or felt before. And I felt and saw that starting to fade around me, and I didn't want to let that go on.
I always wanted a leadership position in my school, and I had been involved in the house system beforehand, and I knew that this would be a chance for me to make a change in the school and to really leave a legacy.
That's awesome. I like both of those stories. Those are really good. When you were running last year, did you go against anyone else, or was it just you?
I went against Jacob Carlson and Allison Bennett, and they were significantly more popular than I was at the time, but they were both awesome people, and I'm certain either one of them would have done very well as house head.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty boring. I ran unopposed.
That's okay. You've done really good this year, so.
Thank you.
So we do house competitions at this school, couple a month, depending on like the month and if there's any like major holidays or anything. Can you remember maybe just one house competition that was like your favorite, or like one that made you really excited about the school, like anything like that?
As house heads or just throughout our time?
Just throughout your time and as a house head, if you have different stories. I'd love to hear both.
So my favorite house competition was, I think it was my sophomore year. Either my sophomore or my freshman year, and we were going around doing, I think they were minute to win it games. And this was back when we were allowed to drop periods. And so I remember we were just running around the school doing all these different minute to win it games. And I remember there was one up on the balcony on the roof. And that was my first time being up there, and a lot of kids aren't allowed up there anymore, so that was kind of cool. And the game was, you had to like hold a bucket and jump and pour the bucket of water into a bigger container. It was really convoluted and complicated, and it was actually quite dangerous, but it was a lot of fun. And I just like how we were able to drop periods and go around and do all of these really fun games.
That's way more interesting than my story. Probably a little competition we did my freshman year, I believe it was. It was nothing too extraordinary. It was, I think, during Halloween, and it's like fill in the blanks to these big Mad Libs thing almost, and then whoever had the funniest, most unique answers won the house points. And that by itself was funny, but not very specific. But what I liked was immediately afterwards, all the houses started chanting, and would go to the balcony edges or to the stairwells, whatever, and just yell at each other from across the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Do you guys have any like good stories about being house head?
Would you like to go first, or should I? Well, my favorite part of being a house head was how close of a relationship we had with our previous principal, Mrs. Heckeberg. We would meet with her every week during lunch, and we had all these inside jokes, and we were just so comfortable around her. And it was really nice to be able to have that support system because, you know, we were treated as if, like we were adults and we had a say in everything. And it was really nice that we had those weekly meetings so that we could stay up to date and just to really take advantage of that support system.
What's that supposed to mean? That is one of those inside jokes. Just all the funny shenanigans we got up to in between things. You do all this hard work. It is very serious, and we try to always do our best. But in any given organization, no matter how serious or how hardworking you are, there will be small slip-ups that will be told of throughout the ages as humorous events.
Yeah, I can see that. Being a house head, I think, is something that's a pretty cool thing to do in your high school career. Do you think that being a house head has like helped you in any way to like in your future? Do you think, you know, if I hadn't been a house head, like maybe I wouldn't have done this thing or something like that?
Being a house head has definitely helped me with my leadership skills and my organizational skills. Like I was talking about at the beginning of the year, we were going at such a fast pace that I know that I could survive in any business because I was making lesson plans and coordinating with teachers. I was at such like this high level of work and work ethic that it was kind of amazing to see just how professional I was and how I remember times being like, wow, this is just like anybody thinks of like a big business. You see people running around and just getting things done, and that's what I felt like we were doing.
That was well said, by the way. Do I personally feel being house head has influenced me in any significant fashion? No, but it's not really about me. It's about helping others. It's about being able to impact and aid others, and that's what I focus on. I think my life would have been largely the same had I not be house head, just perhaps less busy. But the impact I get to see on people's faces to this day and every day, that's amazing to see.
Wow, Chris, way to upstage me there.
I know, we need more people in the world like you.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
So, as you know, you said, maybe this might have helped you in the future, but overall, like being a house head the past year, how do you think it's changed your views of ISC itself?
I don't think it's necessarily changed my views of ISC. It's definitely shown me more about the ISC and have shown me more into like the politics side of schools and the little itty-bitty things that happen that students don't really know about. It's really interesting to kind of be on the inside, on the teacher level and on the administrator level, and looking at the school from that perspective. It's not necessarily changed my views or my perspective on the ISC, it's just kind of been more eye-opening.
I can't think of a specific good spoken answer to that, so I'm just going to say no, probably not if I can't think of anything.
It's totally fine. ISC has already been a great school anyways, so
Oh, definitely.
I understand.
Why don't you guys take us through a day in planning house competition?
So most of the house competitions start out with just kind of an idea, and the idea is spread with with Mr. Chapin, the leadership teacher, because he's kind of our advisor in this whole planning. He says whether he likes it or not, and then we kind of sit down and we talk about it. We talk about how can we get the most people to participate, how can we include everyone and fit the house competition to the core values of the ISC. We plan it a little bit, it depends on the house competition. Some house competitions are planned solely by the house heads in their spare time, and some of them are planned through the leadership class. The leadership class is 6th period, and 2 of the house heads, Robin and I, who you'll see a little bit later, we are the head of the house committee within the leadership class, and we, with the help of some other students in that class, help plan house competitions, award house points, and just do stuff within the house as well.
she is more involved with the making of house competitions than I am, so I apologize for letting her take all that, but she explained that way better for me.
No, that's totally fine. So, last question before we segue into the next two house heads. When you were a freshman, did you ever really think you would become a house head? Was that like something you wanted to do since you were a freshman, or do you think as you've stayed in the ISC for a few years that your love for the house system had like grown more?
With me, when I was a freshman going to school, I idolized the house heads. I never thought that I was going to get to that point in my life where I would be a house head. The house heads my freshman year were Jake Sirianni and CeCe Phillips, and they are ISC legends. And just, you know, being in the house and being in the school at the same time they were is such almost like an honor just to know them and to be able to work with them. So when I was a freshman, I never thought that I would be a house head. Sophomore year, I thought about it a little bit more, but I didn't think I was ready. And then junior year, there was a little bit of a self-confidence issue. I thought that I could do it, but I didn't think that like others would believe that I could do it, and I didn't really believe in myself that much. It took some talking into, but that's when I decided to run, to just kind of take a leap of faith and become a house head, and it's one of the best decisions I've made.
Awesome.
I never knew that. That's cool. That's really cool. Freshman year I didn't really have any lofty goals or aspirations. I had my dream, my little star, as Mr. Lefstad puts it, but other than that I didn't really plan or think about much, and then sophomore year I felt there was a need and fulfilled it, so nothing as remarkable as that, to be honest.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you two for talking with us.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to have our Beta and Alpha house heads. But before we get to that, we're going to look into the lives of a freshman and a senior.
Don't really know how to do that, but it's fine. Just move on to a new one. I'm not going to finish high school if I don't finish this one math problem. Style is so important for high school. It looks so cute today. Warm, comfortable, not fashionable. Whatever. Who's Elizabeth? I'm gonna fight her. I'm gonna fight her. I'm gonna throw hands. Just tripped. Well, not the first time. Whatever. Oh my god, I just tripped down the stairs. My reputation is ruined. Act natural. Act natural.
Welcome back to
I'm Quinn.
And we just talked to Chris and Shannon, but now we have the last two house heads. We have Robin, who's the Alpha house head, and Kona, who's the Beta house head. Welcome on the show, guys. How has your morning been?
Pretty good. Tiring.
Yeah, I understand.
Wasn't expecting it to freeze this morning, so it was kind of late.
Yeah, that's fun. So we didn't really talk about a house head as a general for people who don't know, so we'll ask that to you guys. So what is a house head for the ISC?
We kind of a multi-purpose job. There are a lot of different things that are encompassed under being a house head. The most visible stuff we do, of course, is to help plan the competitions and keep the house system running. But there's a lot of invisible, I guess would be the opposite of that, stuff that we tend to do as well. Whether that's just helping out teachers and making sure their lives are going okay, making sure there's communication between everyone as we try and plan these things, and trying to make sure that we can get the time we need for certain things. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So what is a house head is kind of a big question.
I think, what is it to be a house head? I think almost we're supposed to be the leaders of our house, and kind of like, I feel like almost a role model to the underclassmen in our house, and we're supposed to be like the big example where kids would be like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to get involved.
We kind of set the stage, set the standard for what we expect from the culture of the ISC and the students that partake in it.
Awesome. Yeah, those are great answers. So how long have you guys been house heads for the school?
Well, I've only been a house head since I was elected a year ago, but.
And I am in my second term of house head, so this is wrapping up 2 years.
Awesome.
What made you guys want to be a house head?
That's kind of a hard question for me, because it kind of just was like a spur of the moment thing, where I mean, I'd always been interested in the house system. Like my freshman year, I was kind of into it, but I never thought about being a house head. Then sophomore year, I was kind of like it would be cool, but I don't know. I didn't think I would win. And then junior year, like a few weeks before the election, I was just like, hey, you know what? I might as well do it because it's something I want to do. And I did it, and here I am.
Yeah.
My freshman year, I remember when it was time for the sorting assembly, when we bring all our freshmen into the gym and we have a big assembly to sort them into what house they're going to be. I remember sitting up on the stands. That's weird we call them stands, but we sit in them. But anyway, I remember sitting there and watching the house heads as they sorted our freshmen into these houses. And looking and watching them and thinking there is no way I could ever see myself doing anything like that. And then the following year, there were some things that started happening, and somehow, I don't even remember how, but I found myself involved in it and trying to solve these problems. And by that point, it was like, what are you doing not running for house head? So I kind of found myself thrust into it, but it's certainly been fun.
Yeah, I read a movie. So, I mean, we already talked to Shannon and Chris about the day in the life of making house competition, but do you think you have anything to add about that? Like, what it's like to plan a house competition?
We throw around a lot of ideas. That's one way to put it. When we first sit down, we're like, okay, suddenly we have the time to do this kind of thing. Let's plan a house competition. When that moment comes, there's a lot of throwing things to the wall and seeing what sticks. And once we get something that sticks, from there, it's just a very long evolution process.
Sometimes there's a lot of arguing, but we always.
It's civil arguing.
Yeah, it's civil arguing, but we always end up coming up with pretty good ideas.
Yeah, I've liked the past couple competitions. They've been pretty good. So, since you've had so many house competitions, especially in your last 2 years, do you have any favorite ones that you've ever done?
The first one we did my first year as house head, we gave everybody a necklace. And through the whole day, we had them just play rock, paper, scissors with each other. And whoever won, best 2 out of 3, would then take one necklace from the other person. And then at the end of the day, we collect them up, which house got the most. And I love that that was so simple, yet so many people got involved in that. I mean, usually when we run these competitions during the passing time, rather than during a dedicated period, we tend to notice there's decreased participation because there's less, I don't want to say peer pressure, but that kind of influence on students to participate. But when we do that kind of thing, it's so simple and it's so spread through every single person that we get so many people involved in it. And so I remember watching last year just during lunch and looking out over the balcony at the kids in the first floor, and almost at least half of them were in the middle of a rock, paper, scissors game, and that was just amazing.
I'd have to say my favorite house competition, I don't remember if it was freshman or sophomore year, when we all went outside to the track and we all played the games with our house outside, like Mr. K's. I think it was field day, where you have to stand on the 2 blocks and you have to move, and then you had to like make the chain and run from one end to the other, and it was just so awesome to be there with our houses and competing against each other. It was just really cool, and it started to pour down rain and nobody cared because everybody was having such a good time. It's one that I probably won't ever forget.
Yeah, I remember doing that one. That one was very intense, but a lot of fun.
When you guys were running, did anyone else go against you?
Yeah, when I ran, I went up against Connor Stickles, who ended up winning this year, which is awesome, and I went up against Jessica Iglesias. They both are really awesome, but I'm happy that I won. Yeah. But I would have been okay with either of them winning.
My sophomore year, when I initially ran, I ran against Alex Avila, who has since graduated. He, of course, would have been really good as well, but I ended up winning out that one. The following year, so my most recent election, I did actually run a post. I waited. One of the big goals of ISC is to get lots of participation and lots of people involved and caring about the things they do in our school. So I tried to wait until the very last minute to turn in my application for my second term. Didn't turn out, and I ended up running unopposed, but yeah.
Awesome. So do you have any good stories from being a house head the last year?
Ooh. You mean we have to pick one?
Yeah.
I know there's probably a lot, but maybe there's one that just like sticks in your head, like just one really good one.
My first year as house head. Sorry, Robin.
No, it's okay.
That was when Austin Haw, Nolan Bennett, and Anthony Langat were house heads with me. I remember we started to do this video series called Destiny. We ended up abandoning that project, but we did get a trailer out. And the day we were out there filming, we had another student, Denise Jacobson, with us, and she was the star. And going through that filming process that day was really fun. We really enjoyed ourselves that day. We went out to Jennings Park, we filmed a lot of stuff there, and it was overall a fun day. I mean, that was well into the year. We'd already had a good relationship between the 4 of us, but after that day, it was kind of really cemented. I mean, we called ourselves Dream Team 2015, that's how we ran together, and after that, it was like, yeah, these guys are awesome.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good stories, but I feel like my favorite moment of being a house head was the sorting assembly. Getting to make the video and have it be inspirational, and it was just like almost our first time being in front of, it was our first time being in front of our whole school and all the houses since the beginning of the school year. So it was just like a really cool moment for me to just be all dressed up and to be standing in front of my house and be like, wow, I'm leading all of these people, I'm a role model, and it was just a really cool experience.
The moment when we show that video and this whole school is clapping, and just from how, like, inspirational is a good word, just how inspirational that video was, and the moment of the whole school watching it and it's being presented to everyone is, there's nothing that really compares to that moment. You picked a good one. I get chills just thinking about it.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna play a really fun game with all of the house heads, so that'll be pretty interesting. But while we're setting it up, let's go look into the new Instagram.
Have you ever cried because of the lame present you received? Or maybe someone didn't cook your food right? Well, cry no more! Introducing the new but old Instagram. She can cook just like Donna Reed. She cleans with the most vigor. She reads you bedtime stories. And even comforts you when you fall.
Stop using the Instagram if you experience dizziness, diarrhea, loss of sight, loss of hearing, weight gain, rashes, kisses, money gain, vomiting, shortness of breath, wrinkles, coughing, pregnancy, potty accidents, falling, and can't get up gray hairs, bad breath, health burn, or even death.
To order your Instagram, call 1-800-NANA. That's 1-800-NANA.
Close.
Hello, welcome back to Charger Chat. We're a little hectic right now because we're a little frantic about setting everything up, but we are going to play Pie Face with ISC trivia.
Oh, God.
So on a team, I guess we'll have boys and girls. So
Woot.
All right.
who would like
Delpha
to go first?
Incorporated.
Delpha Incorporated.
Delpha
So-
Incorporated.
Bam.
What's gonna happen is I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Who can get it right first does not have to get pie face, but the other team has to click this thing 3 times, and it could hit you in the face. It could not hit you in the face, and that's the fun part about it.
Okay.
Okay. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right. The first question is, what year was ISC open?
2007.
That is correct. All right.
Get
so
out.
which one of you
Get
wants
out.
to start? Which one of you wants to start with the pie face? Only one of
I
you will have
think
to
the
do
team
it.
that gets it should get to pick which
Oh,
one
No,
has to
that's
go
not
first.
fair. No. You know what? Go right ahead.
Let's
We'll make
do
this
Robin.
interesting.
Let's do Robin.
Why? Why would you make me do it
It has to
first?
happen sooner
I've
or
got
later.
glasses
Really?
on.
You take your glasses off.
Okay, that's fine, but
Bad day to be Robin.
I just broke the mic. Wow. I broke the mic.
Could shoot it in the face? If you're not in the face. The fun thing is that we don't know, and this is going to be great.
Okay, well I broke this, so.
That's all right.
Okay.
So you just
how
have to
many
click
times
it
You recording this?
3 times.
This table is like
slow.
awkwardly low.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh!
First time! How do you feel?
I feel awesome.
That was great. I love that.
Slow
That was
motion.
amazing. Now we're going to reset that, and we're going to leave the whipped cream there. Cause
Yeah,
I don't know
maybe
what
I
to do
should
with
just leave it on my face because there are no napkins.
that. All right, you guys ready for the next question?
Nope.
Sure.
Name all 3 of the ISC movies in order.
Okay, so it starts out with, what's it called? It was Fresh Meat, then it went to The Transfer, then it's What Lies Within Us.
That is correct.
Kona.
Yep, Kona.
All right.
No
No
questions
about it,
asked.
Kona. I wish I had a napkin.
The fun part is you get to eat it afterwards.
It's like all over my face. So it's all over
Alright.
my
You get to
face.
click it 3 times.
3 times?
I
Yep.
swear to God,
Okay.
Kona, if you.
I probably won't.
Wait for it.
One. Wait.
Forward.
Oh,
Forward.
forward? That
Yeah,
would make
forward.
sense. 1,
1.
2.
And he goes off clean, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God. Okay, next
sorry for
question.
your loss,
Chris,
Robin.
I'm not even gonna make you go. Kona, it's gonna be you every single time.
Alright. So this one is geared more towards MG as a whole. Each
Uh-oh.
grade has a color that they wear for their pep assemblies. Which color corresponds with each grade level?
Seniors black.
Okay.
Yep.
Freshman white. No.
Freshmen are green.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, no!
Scores are white and the juniors are gold.
That is very true, yes. Alright. Who wants to go? Shannon?
Shannon?
I think it's your
Fine.
turn.
Okay.
I was so gonna pick one,
Uh,
and I was like, no.
Bring this over. Looking good, Shannon. Looking good.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
All right. You guys ready for the next question?
Shannon.
This is by far one of the best things we've ever done.
Yeah.
So each one of your houses has 2 colors. If you can name your house colors, both of you can't help each other, then you win.
Blue and silver, red,
and gold. Blue and silver, red and gold.
That's how we're doing that?
Well, blue and white, and then red and gold.
It's blue and white. I think that's an important technicality because gamma's green and silver.
I would say I'm the silver
Blue and
one.
white. That's an important technicality.
Green, silver,
Okay, it changes because the Delta Panda has silver
But
The
it's
Delta
changed
banner
over
has
here.
white. We can go look at it.
No, the Delta cloth banner?
Oh
white.
my god.
When
This
I
is what it's
asked
like?
a certain teacher about this question, they gave me gamma was green and silver and delta was blue and white. So I'm gonna go with what
Winning.
our English teacher, Miss Kreger, said. I am very sorry.
All do that. You guys all do it.
So Robin or Shannon?
I guess since I got it wrong.
Alright.
I'll load it up. Can't believe you got your own house colors wrong.
It's changed.
In her defense, it's a common mistake.
1, 2.
Okay.
Oh.
Are those 3?
Yeah, she did
Very
3 times. She did 3 times.
Good.
It's pretty lucky. Alright, let's do 2 more questions. Which house has won the most house cups?
Delta.
Excuse you, Gamma.
I'm sorry, I wish it was Gamma, because I am a Gamma, but it is Delta. That is
I
correct.
think I'm gonna go Kona for this one.
Yeah, I think
This
I'm
has
gonna.
been
I think
going
I'm gonna go.
scot-free.
I'm
This
gonna
is
go
pretty
Kona
lucky.
again because he
Okay.
didn't get it last time.
Prepare yourself for battle.
No, this one I'll probably get.
Hold on, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, that was not supposed to happen.
Get out of
That
here.
was supposed to happen. There you go, Robin. You satisfied? Oh, that was problematic. Okay. Here we go.
Bye bye, Kona.
Yeah.
1, 2.
You have the devil's own luck.
Oh man.
Okay, Kona. Get it.
Well, we have the last question. Let's see which one.
Watch this be me. Watch this be me.
Let's go with this one. So, this is a kind of a double-edged question. Let's do who won the first house cup, and if you can guess who the house head was, that would be great.
Yep, it's Delta and Jack Opal.
That is correct.
Kona, get your face down there.
I'm gonna report you for harassment.
Do it.
No.
Fight me, Kona.
I didn't do that. That was somebody else.
That's
You get away with it.
I swear to God.
Go.
I'm trying to spin it. It's not.
Just
1, 2.
Do it, Kona.
No.
I'm out.
Joke's on you, I'm doing this for the laugh.
Oh, okay.
Chris. Finale, we're gonna make finale.
Just turn it.
It's
in.
broken.
That was so uneventful.
Chris?
There it ends.
Chris?
Yes?
There we go.
There.
In my eye.
As the class has ended, now the game has ended. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you to the house heads. Have a good day.
We have to take a selfie.